But welcome to the karaoke lunch hour. Mics will be passed around, so y'all get ready. But in all seriousness, Adrian Garcia, I'm proud to be your county commissioner, proud to represent all of this incredible industry that is here today. Thank you all for continuing to support the Economic Alliance Port Houston. Let's give it up for Chad Burke and his entire team. I'm always honored to help to introduce someone who really needs no introduction, and that is Ric Campo, who is the chairman of the Port Commission of the Port of Houston Authority. He was appointed to the position in January 2019 and has done a phenomenal job. Don't you agree? Right? He also helps to oversee the Pilots Commission as well. And so, I don't know how Rick does it. He has so many other responsibilities on top of managing Camden companies that he helped to found or co-found in 1982. And then is currently serving as vice chair of the HISD Board of Managers, and then has also served us as the chairman of the Houston First Corporation and the Houston Super Bowl host committee. So we're waiting for that next Super Bowl, Rick. No pressure, man. But he's an incredible individual. He was just sharing with me that his term is up, but we're going to make sure that he continues to serve us in an incredible capacity. And so I'm excited to cast that vote in the very near future. In his role at Port Houston, he has furthered the commitment to conducting operations using a systemic approach to protect and preserve the natural environment through such projects as the switch to 100% renewable electricity and investing in electric vehicles for port operations. Rick has also led Port Houston to establish the minority and women-owned business enterprise development program and establishing the Port Houston's first ever Chief Business Equity Officer position as a part of the executive leadership team to help infuse these qualities into the port culture. So with that, ladies and gentlemen, please help me welcome Mr. Ric Campo.
Karaoke, huh? Let's get started. So I have one card here to help me with my presentation. And it says, jobs, 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 because that's what the Houston Port Authority is about. It's about creating jobs, creating value for the community. When I think about public service and my particular public service, I think about the reason I do it is because I want to improve the quality of life for people in the region. And Houston's been really, really good to me and my family and to my company and to a lot of people here in this room. And quality of life starts with a job. And the port is about jobs, and period, end of story. That's why I wear this shirt. This shirt it shows my pride and respect for the people in the field, because the people in the field that are unloading our containers and unloading break bulk, those are the people that work every single day and make sure that we all do really well. And I appreciate them, and that's why I wear a shirt like this rather than a coat and tie kind of CEO type thing. So when I first started at the port, I was confused about what the port did. When I got recruited for the job, it was like, okay, I get it. The Port of Houston, the port runs the channel. The port controls everything out there, right? And the answer is wrong. I didn't really know what the port did. See if this works. Chad? Okay. So let's talk about, until this thing gets working, what the port is and what the port isn't. So the Port Authority, okay, who we are. I like to do this because there's a lot of folks that need to understand this, because oftentimes people think the Port Authority or the Port of Houston is we run everything at the port, and guess what? We don't. All we do two things. We take care of the public facilities. So we have 2 container terminals and a number of other 8 public terminals totally, and we manage those. And then we are the non-federal sponsor of the channel for the federal government, which means that the channel itself is controlled by the Corps of Engineers and the Coast Guard. And it's a federal channel. We don't control anything that goes on in the channel. It's controlled by the federal government. We are partners with the federal government, the Corps of Engineers, and with the Coast Guard, but those are the authorities when you get down to who actually runs the channel. So we run the 8 terminals, and we are their partner. So we are the federal partner that is involved in expanding the channel or supporting in issues that happen in the channel and stuff like that. But we do not control and run the channel. Even though whenever there's an issue, guess who gets called first? We do, and then we, of course, dial in the right people to make sure that we are supporting the Coast Guard and the other folks. So that's who we are. We are run by the commission. The commission's 7 members, and I'm the chair. The chair is jointly appointed by the city and the county. And the other positions are 2 city positions, 2 county positions, a position from, that's appointed by Pasadena, and then a position that's appointed by the Coalition of Mayors. So it's a broad community group that manages the Port Authority. We have a full-time and really incredible team at the port, something like 800 employees now, plus or minus. And we have a new CEO. Last year, Charlie Jenkins, who's sitting right here, got the Icon Award. And so, pretty cool. I told Chad and I told Charlie earlier that was the straw on the camel's back that really got him the CEO job, and Chad says he got a commission for it. But the great thing about having Charlie as CEO is he's been at the port since 1990. We had a succession plan in place. Roger Gunther, who I think was CEO for 10 years, plus or minus, very long-term, 30-plus year employee. Charlie's a 30-plus year employee as well. And fun facts about Charlie, he was the first intern at the port, which is pretty amazing. And I know there's a lot of college kids here and high school kids here. Guess what? If you can be an intern and then you do really well in spite of being an Aggie, you might rise to a CEO of one of the major ports in America, which is what Charlie has done. And we love having Charlie with us here today for that. We have a great team at the port. When you think about the ship channel, let's talk about the channel itself, not just the Port Authority, because the channel, when I talk about the Houston Ship Channel, I'm talking about 200 facilities in and around the channel. We're talking about 1.5 million jobs created locally, 3 million jobs for nationally, 439 billion of economic impact, and almost a trillion of U.S. impact. And the important part of this is what we all do is we share the channel. And when you think about our 8 terminals, the Port Authority's terminals versus the other 200 create a massive amount of economic activity. It's 19% of the Texas GDP is produced by the port and its group. And when you think about energy, and I'll talk a little bit about that later, we have one of the greatest energy complexes in the world. 550 million, probably more today than this last number that I'm using, of storage capacity, plus we're the financial hub of energy trading across America. So it's an amazing sort of asset that we have and an amazing opportunity that we have to keep growing. Because we know that what we did yesterday is great, but it's what about tomorrow, and what about the future? What about the kids that are in this room? What kind of jobs are they going to get? And we have to make sure that we're constantly thinking forward to create value for those folks. When you think about the port, we're not competitive in any way, right? Never competitive. But we're number one in so many things, it's hard to kind of keep the list going when you start thinking about what we have accomplished together as a team and together as a community with the port. So we're number one. The biggest number is number one in waterborne tonnage in America for a long time. And that just creates a lot of value and a lot of long-term benefits for us. When you think about the scale of Port Houston, it is massive. Number one in America, right? 73% of the containers in the Gulf come here. Number 5 container port, number 1 in steel, 293.8 million tons, or 8 million tons of total tonnage. Now let's put that in perspective. The next biggest port is 67 million tons less than ours. And then if you take 94% of the ports in America, they don't total up to 67 million tons. That's how big we are and how important we are to the nation and to Texas overall. It's an amazing thing when you start thinking about it. And what is really important is to make sure that we're taking care of it every single day and thinking about the future. When you think about I think this is kind of interesting numbers too when you look at, so what is going in and out of the port? And this is the channel overall. So 71% is liquid bulk, which you would expect. Refined oil and gas products of every kind you can imagine that are going in and out of the port on an ongoing basis. Containers, about 15%, and then dry bulk and other general cargo, the rest. Over the years, even through COVID and even through the upturns and downturns of the economy, port keeps growing, ship channel keeps growing, a little blip here and there during COVID, but other than that, it continues to grow pretty dramatically. Where do things come from and go? This is the channel overall, so the number one trading partner in our channel is Latin America, behind that Europe and Mediterranean, East Asia after that. What is coming and going? Well, we know it's chemicals and materials, minerals, hardware, construction materials that are imported, and we import. I think this is an interesting number. We're importing chemicals and minerals. We're refining them, adding them to the process of moving molecules around that we do so well here on the Gulf Coast, and then we send them back to the world to use. And I think these are really interesting numbers. They just shows kind of what we do and how we do it. Now let's talk about Port Houston for a minute. So this is Port Houston highlights. So this is just our 8 terminals and not the other 192 other terminals around. So we are, I said earlier, the 5th largest container port, nearly almost 4 million TEUs, which are 10-foot equivalent units, the box that everything comes in. That we support at our container terminals. A couple of numbers I'm going to talk about a little bit later will be the investments we're making. It's just amazing when you think about everything that's been going on with the channel and with everything else in Houston. The port, we're 71% container. Those are the 2 terminals, Barbers Cut and Bayport. And then 18% is bulk cargo. And the balance is grains and other things. If you look at this chart compared to the other one we just saw, where are things coming and going? East Asia is at Port Houston's biggest trading partner, and you could imagine why, right? A lot of imported goods come from Asia, and we send a lot of resin and other products to East Asia to be refined and sent back to us in the form of products. Europe is about the same as the overall channel itself, and then Latin America. And if you remember the last slide, Latin America was the number 1 overall, and for Port Houston, it's actually the 3rd. When you look at what's happened to Port Houston, our growth for Port Houston has been consistent with the rest of the channel itself over time. This year, we're doing pretty well. So far, we're up 3% in overall tonnage in 2024 over 2023. Our steel is down about 9%. It tends to be more cyclical in how many oil wells are drilling in the Eagle Ford and what have you. But our container business is up 10%. And that's really good. We think we're going to have a strong end of the year. So it's a very, very positive outlook for what's going on at Port Houston. In terms of what's in a container, everything that's at your table is in a container. Chairs, everything we use is totally in a container. And so it's a lot of consumer goods and things like that. What we send out is primarily resin. Resin and plastics are a massive component of our exports out of Houston and out of Port Houston. Big opportunities, big growth means big opportunities, right? So we've invested over $1.2 billion in the last 5 years, rehabbing existing facilities, adding container storage, improving traffic flows, all kinds of new investments that have been going on in the port. Wharf 6 expansion, an expansion of a wharf, by the way, just in rule of thumb, with everything that goes on and all the costs associated with it, the wharf expansions cost about $250 million, plus or minus. So we're expanding wharfs dramatically. investing big time in the next 5 years. $1.7 billion of landside investments are all scheduled for the next 5 years, and we'll be adding more wharfs and more facilities. September, we had 3 cranes that came that we're getting ready to install on our wharf expansion. Wharf 7 is getting ready to is continuing to have progress on. One thing I do want to hit, and I know that Commissioner Garcia made this comment about environmental. We're very committed. We understand the balance between business, and good environment and good environmental attainment. And we balance those, I think, very, very well. We're the first port to do a lot of firsts, which included operate with 100% asset-backed renewable, and we have hybrid electric RTGs. I think we have 57 hybrid electrics out of 140. And by the way, a hybrid electric, just to give you a sense, has 90% better or lower emissions than a regular diesel RTG. So as we replace, we're continue to improve our carbon footprint, and we've improved our carbon footprint down by 50% since 2016. I want to hit on the channel quickly, and then we're going to do Q&A. So the channel, I've been talking about the channel for a long time. Ever since I got to the port 6 years ago, we talked about the channel. I can tell you today, the channel is in really good shape. We are, it's a $1 billion project, $1.2 billion project. It is one of the largest, fastest, and most environmentally clean projects that has been done in America ever. And it's because of the amazing team we have at the port. I saw Lori here, Lori Brownwell. Where's she hiding here? Oh, there you are, right there. Who's managing this project and has done an incredible job making sure that we're on time and under budget, which I understand we are, and that our environmental attainment is way above what the original project was scheduled to be. This project, just to give you a sense, we are now completed with 1A and 1 and 2, which is almost to the Bayport, or it's to the Bayport Ship Channel. We will be finished with 1C and 1C all the way up to or 1B and 1C by the end of the first quarter or second quarter of next year, and which means that the whole Bay Reach part of the channel will be done. Now, just to give you a sense, and I know we have Vincent DeCosmo up here after this, but Vincent and I used to sit and talk about how long it would take this project. We are 10 years ahead of where this project would have been had we not front-loaded the cost, had we not negotiated with massive numbers of congressional folks in getting this project done. Otherwise, it'd be a 20, 30-plus project, and we are able to say that we're going to have it done, the Bay Reach part done in 2025 because of the process that we used to get this done. It was not cheap. Very expensive process. The $1.2 billion cost is being funded at $856 million by port, and the balance by the federal government. We're $120 million away from the total financing being complete, and that's a federal grant that we're going to try to get over the next couple of years. And what the channel is about, it's about safety and efficiency. And when you can move more products through the channel quicker and safer, everyone does better, and that means the economy grows and we have more jobs and we're able to create value for everyone in the region. So it's really critical to continue to invest in the channel, and we at the port decided to go ahead and do that through the sale of $800+ million worth of revenue bonds, totally backed by the port, not backed by Harris County or any taxpayer money, just backed by the Port of Houston. We have proposed a user fee to help us recoup some of those costs so that we can then do it again for Project 12 when we have to expand and do the next big project that'll come in the future. And that's you can find out more information out on our website. But there's a lot of community debate and community discussion that's gone on about that. And we think it's a reasonable, fair thing to do to make sure that we can continue to invest in our future. So it's all about jobs. It's all about quality of life. Quality of life starts with jobs. And if we don't have a job, it's pretty hard to have a good quality of life. So at this point, I appreciate your time today, and thanks for your interest in Port Houston. We're going to do a few minutes of Q&A. So if you're ready, let's go ahead. Thanks. Are they coming? Here we go. It's a blue screen so far. Okay, first one is, have you seen an uptick in business since the collapse of the Francis Scott Key Bridge in March? Well, that was a very tragic situation and difficult situation, and one that, by the way, when you think about major infrastructure investments, that's one that should have had one and didn't because of the whole issue about federal money. But the answer is no, we didn't see a lot of pickup as a result of that. Most of the cargo that was going to go there probably just went to other ports within the area because it was probably going there for a reason because it was closer to be delivered and that sort of thing. What's the largest container vessel that can come now in the Bay Reach now that it's been widened? I think we're at 1,150, and we're going to go to 1,200 ultimately when the Bay Reach is completed. I think that's a 14 to 15,000 box or 20-foot equivalent unit ship. And when you look at ships over the last 10 years have gone up the length of various ships anywhere from 20 to 28% bigger 10 years ago than they are today, or bigger today than they were 10 years ago. So the larger ships are just more efficient, and cargo holders or cargo folks want more efficient ships, so they are going to bigger ships. How do you balance the societal impacts to local communities versus economic gain, traffic safety, et cetera? That's a huge issue for sure. And when we're thinking about expanding or we're working on our landside investments, we do economic analysis. We also do environmental impact analysis. And we try to reach out to the communities. We spent a lot of time with various communities on environmental impacts and how can we help mitigate some of those things. And I think a good example would be Project 11. So the attainment in the environmental reports that were done was a 1 level, and there are 5 levels of diesel emissions, 0 to 4, and on our last contract we achieved a 4 rating, which is the cleanest diesel ever. We didn't have to go to 4. We went from 1 to 4 because we thought it was the right thing to do. And the industry is moving that way too. All industry today is thinking about their environmental issues, and they're thinking about how can I be better? How can we be better community folks? And I know there was a lot of discussion with the port is going to be completed with our part of the channel, and then the Army Corps of Engineers has taken over the upper part of the channel. There was a lot of discussion. People were worried about, well, what happens when the Corps comes in and they have an attainment level here, and we're here at the port? And what we thought would happen is actually happening, which is we pioneered the cleanest dredges in America for our project. And those dredges are here now, and the people are working on those dredges. So guess what? They can make a better bid to the Corps of Engineers for those clean dredges, and guess what? The first contract that the Corps has let is a level 4 emissions, and they're just using the same dredges that we already used in our last project. So our environmental pushing the edge of being a better environmental citizen has helped others reach environmental attainment that they wouldn't otherwise have as well. So yeah, it's a complicated issue, there's no question. How do you partner with industry to continue making the port economic giant? Oh, every day. We have to partner with everyone in this room. We have a coalition of different groups, and I mentioned the user fee for the channel. So think about it this way: we've spent $856 million of port money to get the channel dredged 10 years sooner than it would have otherwise been dredged. So we have to partner with the community, and that means that the community needs to partner with us and pay a user fee because it's going to improve everybody's bottom line at the end of the day, and that's how we fund things in the future. Let's see, can you speak if you know about ship channel expansion projects affecting local fishery and wildlife habitat? Is there anything being done to limit displacement? So the answer to that is absolutely. But part of our job is to make sure that when we do displace things like oyster reefs, we build new ones. And in addition, we build many, many acres of bird islands and marshlands that help wildlife and help aquatic situations. So we are very big into making sure that we are not negatively impacting the bay or the waterways, fisheries, and that sort of thing. And we think we're doing a good job there. Let's see. What is something you're most important? Let me see. What role does stakeholder collaboration play in ports sustainability efforts, and how are local businesses and community involved? Okay, next week we have the Port Commission Chairman or Port Commission Community Advisory Council meeting, and we have environmental folks. We have people from all the different communities in and around the port, and they come into a room, and there's, I don't know, 20 of them, and we sit around and say and go, what do you got going on? What are your issues? How do we solve some of these problems? And community outreach is huge. You can't be part of the community if you don't talk to people in the community, and you don't listen to people in the community, and you don't invest in people in the community. And we do all of that through our grants program, through our different meetings and communities events and what have you. So with all that, that's the end of the questions. There was one that says, what am I most proud of about the port? And I would say just the teamwork and the effort that our team has every single day, that trying to improve the way we do business, trying to improve the quality of life for Houstonians overall and people in the region. And it's all about, when you get down to it, big organizations really are about people, dealing with people, and making stuff happen. It's not, I'm just this big organization and we don't, and it's not something that is just unusual or it's really people doing business with people and making sure that they're doing the right thing and taking the time to be reasonable people with their neighbors. And that's what the port is all about. And that's what I'm most proud of, probably. So thank you. I appreciate it. Have a great rest of your conference. Thanks.